Hi everyone, welcome back to Learn and Build Web Application using ASP.NET MVC and Code First Entity Framework video series. In this Lab 4 video, we're gonna see about what do we mean by layout page in MVC, and we're gonna see what is a render body and render page and sections and render section, and also we're gonna see how to render styles and scripts using styles.render and scripts.render. So overall, we're gonna see a basic structure of layout page and all the layout page related things. Okay, so these are all the things or concepts that I'm gonna cover in this Lab 4 video. Okay, now let me start with the layout page in MVC. Okay, what do you mean by layout page? Layout page is just nothing but like a master page in ASP.NET Web Form. Okay, so we can define one layout and use across multiple views. Actually, if I want to tell with the example, like normally if you're gonna develop any web application, so it should contain like all the menus and header, footer, etc. So even though there are many view pages, we no need to create all these things in all the view pages. Instead, we can do is we can just create one layout page which contains all the menus, header, footers. So we can integrate the other views and to this layout page, and we can use it. Okay, so this also helps us to achieve a dry principle. Okay, that is don't repeat yourself. Okay, uh, now next we shall see the next point. MVC application can have more than one layout page also. Okay, so layout page is just nothing but like a view page, another view page that you gonna design it as a layout or master page. Okay, let me add one of the view page. So suppose I want to create a layout page for admin. So here you have to uncheck this use a layout or master page because you are creating a master page, and click on add. So this is the master page. You need to develop this, you need to design this master page. Let me copy the content which is present in the layout page and paste it here. To show the difference, I'm just changing one of the content in this layout page. Okay, let me change the title. MyASP.NET MVC application for admin. Okay, so right now I've created one more layout page. Uh, okay, so MVC application can have more than one layout page, we have seen. And we can also store or render common CSS or JavaScript files and the plugins that can be used across the multiple views using the bundling concept. Okay, actually this can be implemented using a bundling concept. We can go to app start and we can see bundle configuration file. So what it has is it contains a set of a JavaScript or CSS files. I will be covering this bundling and minification concepts in the next slides. So here we can create a bundle files which contains a set of JavaScript or CSS files that can be used across the multiple views. So we can bundle it and use it in the layout page so that it can be used for the multiple views. For example, like you want to use a jQuery plugin across all of the views, so you can render this jQuery plugin which is present in the bundle config file. So this is the thing. So here we can render common CSS or JavaScript and plugins that can be used across the multiple views using a bundling concept. Okay, and default layout page can be selected in the view start dot CSS page. Okay, as I said earlier that an application can contain a multiple layout pages. So by default layout pages can be selected using a view start dot CSS page. So let's see where this view start dot CSS is present. So it will be present in the view folder inside a shared folder. So not in inside a shared folder called as view start.cshtml. So here you can see that the default layout here they have given is layout.cshtml. So by default it will be considering this layout page as a master page for all of the view pages. Okay. As I said earlier, one MVC application can have multiple multiple layout pages. So now what we wanted to know is we need to know how can we select a uh, different layout pages for the different views. Okay, so this can be accomplished using yeah, view start.cshtml page. Okay, so using view start.cshtml page we can select a different layout pages for the different views. Okay, so now let's go and see where this view start.cshtml is present. So it's present inside a view folder and inside a shared folder, and you can see that view start.cshtml. Okay, so here you can put the condition to select the layout pages, different layout pages for the different views or controllers. Okay, first let me tell you what example I can show it right now. So let me do some changes in the master pages, some minor changes in the master pages. So in this layout admin.cshtml, let me do some minor changes like in this layout.cshtml page, I'll be giving if I go to the if I use this layout page, then I'll be displaying a text called as employee. So I want to, if I use this layout.cshtml master page, then I want to display the text as employee. And if I use layout admin.cshtml page, then I want to display here the text as a admin. So basically here, what I'm gonna do is if I use a employee controller, okay, for employee controller I need to select this layout.cshtml master page, and for home controller or any other controller, I need to use a layout admin.cshtml layout page. Okay, so now we shall see how we can accomplish this. Okay, so currently let's go to the view start.cshtml, and let's see by default what is the views what is the layout page that it's gonna use. So here if we see that the by default it should gonna use layout.cshtml page. So in this layout.cshtml page you can see that there is a text called employee. So here you can see this for this controller, the text it is displaying as employee. So it is using this layout.cshtml page only. So now our plan is to dynamically set the layout page based on the controller. Okay, so let's go to the view start.cshtml page, and let's check what controller is present. So using the request context.root data values, I'm gonna check which controller is will be currently processed. So if controller, if we are using a employee controller, so then it should be using this normal layout.cshtml page. Else condition for all the other controllers, I need to use the other layout page, that is layout dot I need to use this layout admin.cshtml layout page. So let's run the application and see whether it works or not. So here you can see I've gone to the home controller. So for home controller it is using admin. Uh, so for home controller it is using this layout admin.cshtml as a master page. So we have set the master page dynamically. Now also let's go to the employee screen, employee controller, and see. Uh, so if we go to this employee controller, then it should be using the other master page. Okay, so here we can see this. It is using employee text is present, so it is using this layout.cshtml master page. So it is using this layout.cshtml master page. Okay, so now practically we have seen how can we set the master pages dynamically for different controllers or view pages. Okay, so next we shall see the next point. We can also override the default layout page in the child or view page. Okay, so let's see the example. How can we override the default master page, master or layout page, which is defined in viewstart.cshtml. Let's go to the home controller and create one more action method by and let's create one more action method. I'm creating one more action method. This I will call this as a override layout page view. Okay, so I'm creating this action method and adding a view. So here what I need to do is I have to select the master page. So basically you can see for the home controller you can see uh, in for the home controller in view start.cshtml we have selected the layout admin.cshtml. Okay, now let's do one thing. For this particular controller and action method, we shall override this layout admin.cshtml to layout.cshtml. Okay, add view, and let's select this master page. Okay, so I'm overriding. I want to override the layout.cshtml. So I'm selecting this and adding this. Okay, now let's run the application and see whether it's overriding the layout page. So it's going to the home controller, and right now I will be going to this override layout view page and see. So here you can see that uh, the default layout page, which is defined in the view start.cshtml, is been overridden in this override layout view page. So here we can see that employee text is coming up. Okay, so these are all the some of the details concepts of layout page, and also how we can dynamically set the master pages for different views using viewstart.cshtml page. Okay, next thing we shall see is bundling and minification. Bundling combines the multiple JavaScripts or CSS files into a single JavaScript or CSS file. Okay, and this bundling reduces the multiple requests into the single request for the page load. And minification reduces the size of the script or CSS files by removing the blank spaces and the comments. So due to this concepts of bundling and minification, it helps us to improve the request load times of the page, and also it reduces the size of the file. So due to these features, it increases the performance of the application. Okay, so you can see in MVC where in app start folder there is a file called as a bundle config. So here is a one where bundling and minification has been done. So bundling, we can bundle all the set of JavaScript or CSS file into one single file, and minification will be taken care automatically. We no need to do anything for minification. It will be automatically done. Okay, so next we shall see what do we mean by render body, which is present in the master page. Okay, the syntax is very simple. At render body, this is the thing which is present in layout page. At render body is a method that renders a portion of content page that is not within a named section. Okay, you can go to the layout page and see this is the method at render body which is used. So this at render body method renders the data or HTML content from the child view pages. Okay, this is the main concept which is used in the layout page. Okay, so this render body renders the child view data content pages. Okay, so it returns HTML content to the render, and the render body method exists in layout page to render child or view page as we already seen, and it's just like a content placeholder in master page in ASP.NET web form. And a layout page can have only one render body method. Okay, so this is about the render body. Now let's move on to the topic as render page. Okay, the syntax is render page. This is the syntax which is used for rendering the page. Here the main thing is we can create a page separately and design the HTML page, and we can render this page itself in the layout page. Okay, so the basic example here we can see is I can create this HTML content in a separate page I can create one more CSS HTML page called as a header and keep it in the shared folder, and I can render this page using at render page using this syntax. I can render the page. So this is one of the advantage of using render page. So next thing we shall see is render page method accepts the string parameters. So it accepts the string parameters and containing the path of the page and the data optional an array of data to pass to the page being rendered. Okay, a layout page can have multiple render pages. Okay, so next thing we shall see what is section and how to create some section and how to render those section. Okay, section is nothing but a section allows you to define a region of HTML content in a view page. Okay, so you can create some section like this. Okay, so you can create a section like menu in any of the view page, and also you can render this section using this syntax. Okay, so render section is a method that renders the HTML content from the defined section. So you can this for this section you are giving a menu, and you will be rendering this using a render section method. Okay, it accepts one parameter which is the name of the section, and by default the sections are mandatory to make it optional, we have to provide a parameter value as false. Okay, so we have to if it's not required to render that section, then we have to make this by default false. Okay, so now let's see what is styles.render and scripts.render. So this is a syntax which can be used. Uh, this at styles.render is used for rendering the CSS bundled files, and at scripts.render is used for rendering the uh, JavaScript files. Okay, so style.render is used to render the bundle of CSS files defined in the bundle config file. Both the things will be present in the config files. Okay, and now finally let's see what is the basic structure of layout page. So we have seen many of the components that are used in basic structure of the layout page. So here you can see in layout page all the things we can include, like some of the menu related things, and header and footer related things, and also we can render some of the common CSS or JavaScript files using bundling concepts, so that we can render all the common or CSS or JavaScript files that are used across all of the views. Like for example, you can render jQuery plugins, that jQuery will be used all across the view pages, etc. Okay, and also this render body is the one which is used to render the HTML content from the child page. Okay, so and this render section, it can also contain in a layout page, where it is used to render some part of the section that is name which is defined in the this future uh, name. Okay, so if it's not required, then we can make it as an optional by defining the parameter as a required false. So this is the basic structure of layout.cs HTML. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. uh, Please do subscribe to my channel for watching more videos. Thank you. Bye.